That was just not a fun hockey game. Avs lose to the Nashville Predators 4-1. Obviously, as an Avs fan, losing isn't fun, but even for the Predators fans here, this game had to be a snoozer. First of all, it was on NBCSN, slated for an 8 p.m. Mountain start. Beyond that, the early game on national TV ran long, so the start was even later than that, and the game didn't even end until after midnight in Nashville, so not exactly the best planning there. Beyond that, the game just had no flow at all. Both teams took about 1,000,000 icings, the Avs in the first half of the game and Nashville in the second half, and there were just way too many other whistles going on as well. The quality of hockey was inconsistent at best, and then of course you have the challenges, which we'll get to. The only good thing from the Avs in the first period of this game was their third jerseys, basically. They did draw a penalty very early in the game, but did nothing with the power play, and from there basically forgot how to handle a puck. I think there was one point in this period where the Avs iced it 4 or 5 times in a row, and Nashville pretty much just entered the Avs zone and controlled the puck there at will. Very few chances for the Avs in the first seemed like a legitimate threat to score, and it was the opposite on the other side of the ice. Varley played very well through the first half of the first, but eventually he would fall to the onslaught. You're going to see the Preds send a pass cross ice through the neutral zone here, and initially the Avs have a good defense set up. You're going to see as they gain the blue line, Gerard's going to take the puck carrier. You also have Cole communicating to McKinnon to take the man on the far side. That leaves you with Cole with a decent gap on Sissons here in the middle, and Landeskog also taking the man on the near side. So it's a basic 4-on-4 situation here, nothing too crazy. The problem is once they enter the zone, you're more or less fine on this side of the ice. McKinnon takes his man. Gerard does a decent job keeping his gap here, but you get Cole puck watching a little bit, and Cole's assuming he's on Sissons in the middle here. Problem is, Landeskog doesn't stick with Bonino on the near side. He also cuts in to take Sissons. There's no communication between the two. That allows Bonino to go right to the net, and no one is covering him. The puck comes right through to Bonino with plenty of space, and at the same time, Gerard doesn't exactly realize what's going on in the middle of the ice. To be fair, all three of these guys, 3 of you surrounding Colton Sissons, and none of you stick with him, so he just walks in, beats Gerard clean to the net, and it's a tap-in, basically. A whole bunch of bad there, breakdowns on breakdowns to turn a standard defense into something ugly. You knew it was going to come eventually, though, the way the Avs were playing in this period, and the Predators are a good team. And the thing is, rust isn't an excuse here. The Predators had 4 days off before this game as well. The Avs just came out flat, where the Predators did not. Still, this has been par for the course lately for the Avs. You figure if they can get out of the first period down by 1, they'll be alright. Problem is, another breakdown means they don't do that. With the puck bouncing around in the neutral zone, it's going to be a race for the puck here. You're going to see Kerfoot and Dano both collapse towards this puck and fail to make an effective hit. This takes both of them out of this play. As the puck comes forward, you also have a Wilson converging here, but for some reason, even though there's no clear possession, you're going to see Johnson go to change and then give up on that change as the Avs don't retain possession here. Wilson lays a decent hit here, but the puck gets chipped back, and now he's caught flat-footed. With Kerfoot and Dano still out of the play, all of a sudden it's a 3-on-1.5. Johnson still hasn't recovered from his half change here, so this is a total odd man rush for Nashville. You're going to see Gerard on the near side here. He kind of gets caught a little bit too deep on his gap. The pass comes across to Sissons, and he just rips one up past Varley. Just way too many breakdowns there. Again, communication would have helped, but in puck races, I understand things go bang pretty quickly. You still just need to be able to recover, and EJ just can't get caught changing like that. To be fair, you would have kind of liked Varley to make a save there to help bail the team out. The shot was from a pretty good distance. It was very accurate and a good shot, but still, if you square up for Varley, you can take that away. So the Avs end the first period down 2, not great, but not the end of the world. The second period has been the Avs' best period lately, and this game was no different. Very early in the period, a fantastic spin move by Girard eventually sets up this goal. We'll get to the actual Girard spin in a second, but he has carried the puck down deep and actually loses it here, but some good contesting by Landeskog helps the puck to get chipped back up out to Girard, who then finds Cole at the points. Cole just lets a bomb go here, and it beats Rene clean. And for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, it was a 1-goal game, but Nashville challenged, and they looked at it, and guess what? It was offside. Here's the Girard spin in real time at the blue line. Here it is in slow motion at the blue line. It looks awfully close from this angle, really tough to tell. And finally, here's a still frame shot at the point where the puck is the farthest out of the zone. It does look like there could be some white, but it's also extremely close and tough to tell. Ultimately, it gets ruled offside, and I don't really have a problem with the call. I'm going to give the War Room the benefit of the doubt and assume that they had an angle that clearly showed it out of the zone. That I'm not too worried about. The problem here was how long this took. It took forever to come to this conclusion. Not only do you kill the Avs momentum, but the flow of the game to this point was already very poor, and this only made it worse. From the point of scoring the goal to the next puck drop where it didn't count, it had to be between 4 and 5 minutes. That's a long break to just take, especially when you think you just scored a goal and made it a 1-goal game, and then find out that no, in fact, you didn't. I understand wanting to get the call correct, but you have to be able to do it in a timely manner. That would take the wind out of the Avs' sails, and they would take a penalty 30 seconds later. Luckily, the penalty was very good, and that would give them momentum right back, eventually leading to Nashville taking another penalty where the Avs would capitalize, and this one would end up counting eventually. Bit of a scrambly play here. McKinnon's just going to work the puck back up to the point to Girard. He does a good job holding onto it long enough for Girard to slide into a shooting lane for the one-timer, and at the same time, Calvert slides into the slot here, gets his stick out there, and manages to tip this puck past Rene. You're going to see, now that the puck's in the net, the referee right on top of it initially is going to wave this off. The goal would eventually end up counting, but the problem again here is it would take forever to come to this conclusion. First, you have the ref waving off the goal initially. Then the refs all get together and converse about it, eventually coming to the conclusion that it's a good goal on the ice. Then they review it from there and confirm their ruling that it's a good goal. Here's my problem with this. If you can have a challenge where you can use the video footage to tell that the puck came 0.5 millimeter out of the zone, you should be able to use that video footage to accurately determine where a guy's stick was. Having to take all that extra time to confer on this one to call it a good goal on the ice shouldn't be necessary if your instruments are that accurate in showing you what actually happened. And I understand because a stick is in midair and you're trying to measure it against the crossbar, it is more difficult, but still, there's got to be ways to speed this process up and still be able to come to the right call. In better news, that's Matt Calvert's first goal as an Av, and it was one that not only he desperately needed, but the Avs did. Not exactly a pretty one, but given the contract the Avs gave him, they need him to be producing more, and hopefully this is the start of that. From there, for the most part, the Avs look like the better team in this period. They do take a penalty shortly after that they kill off, and then they spend most of the time for the rest of this period in the Predators' zone. Once you get down to the last 5 minutes, you do see the Predators start to push back some, but it looks fairly even at worst. That is until the last minute of the period where the Avs completely forget how to execute a breakout, and a turnover eventually leads to Rantanen taking a penalty. In classic Avs fashion, while they're never able to score on these split period penalties, they give one up almost immediately to the Preds. The Avs are going to lose a puck battle along the boards here with 15 seconds left in the period, largely because Soderberg's stick was broken. So it's essentially a 5-on-3.5 here, and you're going to see the Predators work it down low to the far circle, and from there the Avs get collapsed way too much, and they kind of all end up covering the same things. What you have here is Zadorov coming in to cover Sissons as the puck got moved to the far side, Cole coming out to, one, block the Ellis path and leave Sissons for Zadorov, even though kind of directly blocking the path. The problem is Nieto gets caught facing both Sissons and the Ellis block, so no one is really covering Turris, as Soderberg doesn't have a stick and was out high behind the play. That leaves Turris wide open to rip a shots. Beyond that, the switch off for Zadorov was a little bit late, so he's not going to be able to get in and tie Sissons' stick up. The shot goes off of Sissons' stick, no chance for Varley. While the defensive breakdown wasn't very good here, again, these are one of those situations where you should just not put yourself there in the first place. A decent breakout 50 seconds ago, and you're not on this penalty kill. A little bit of bad luck with the broken stick didn't help either. And so you're down by 2 after 2, and honestly from there the game never really felt that close. The Avs were a mess with the breakout in the third period once again, and they just continue to struggle in games outside of second periods for some reason. Even still, initially the Avs fought back and fought through their sloppiness, and about 7.5 minutes in, it looked like they had brought the score to within 1 again. After some board work, this puck is going to bounce out into the slots, and a risky but very effective pinch by Ian Cole not only keeps the puck in the zone, but allows him to collect it and retain possession. He then whirls around and throws a more of an area pass to the center of the ice here, and Wilson makes a fantastic play to kick this off of his inside skates out to the outside to his stick and hit it past Rene. A fantastic play by Wilson and Cole for that matter, and they deserve to be rewarded, but they weren't. Well over 10 seconds before the goal was scored, on the dump in, Alex Kerfoot had his back foot lifted and was a millimeter offside with his front foot before the puck. So it ends up being a no goal, despite Kerfoot having no real impact on this play. I've had this argument before. The plane of the blue line should be a thing. The play not being affected by the player who is offsides is frustrating. And ultimately, Kerfoot knows the rules and has to keep that back foot down to stay onside. Those aren't the points that I'm trying to argue here in this one. The point that I'm trying to argue here is that it takes way too long for the challenge to come through and get sorted out. This was another challenge that from the time of the goal to the next puck drop, it was over 5 minutes of time where no hockey was played. It's just not a good product to put out on TV. Fans are not going to be interested in that, especially if that's something you're going to be showing on a national broadcast. Losing is one thing, boredom is worse. And what doesn't help is that I don't know how to feel when the Avs score a goal when things like these happen. I want to celebrate, but I have to hold myself back because maybe they're going to call it back and it won't count in the first place, and that just feels bad. I know there's not going to be a perfect solution. Technology could be a big help to this and make the margin of error significantly smaller, but until we get to that, it's definitely going to be rough around the edges. It still seems like this system could be easily improved, though. From there, the Avs had nothing left in the tank. You go through the motions of the rest of the game. The Preds eventually put one into the empty net, and that's that 4-1. It's frustrating for the Avs because you put the puck in the net as many times as your opponent did, not counting the empty netter. It's just you were a millimeter offside, and even though they originally counted, the challenges ended up costing you. And again, that's on the Avs. They have to do a better job of keeping themselves onside. And the Predators were a team that they were likely to lose to anyway. I just want hockey to be fun, and for the vast majority of this season so far, it has been for the Avs, even when they lose. But games like this, they aren't fun for anyone. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. A little not so fun fact, because of the scheduling anomalies for the Avs and all 3 of their goals being reviewed in some capacity in this game, it's been over a week since the Avs have scored a clean goal. Whoopee. I'm Rudo3, and I still think the Avs are a playoff team.